welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back here today, guys, to a big video indeed, because we are going to be discussing the very latest on XAVI Hernandez to Barcelona as the brand new coach of our club. But of course, in order to get there, there's been ups, there's been downs. It has been a turbulent day when it comes to XAVI and Barça, and that is why we are going to be breaking down all of the latest news, all of the negotiations, as Barca's delegation flew to Qatar today. Should we be hopeful? Can we still be excited? And when are we expecting an agreement to be reached? It's all coming up, so let's get into it. Because indeed, let's start right there in the morning on Wednesday, because Rafael Yuste there, the vice president of Barça, and also Mattia Almani, the director of football there, both travelled to Qatar, like I say there, on Wednesday morning, but not Joan Laporta, which we will be coming on to. Now, once Yuste and Almani arrived in Qatar, they did meet there with both representatives of Al Sadd themselves, the leaders of Al Sadd, and also they did meet and discuss with XAVI's personal representatives ahead of XAVI's potentially last game in charge of Al Sadd later on the Wednesday. However, the entire XAVI situation almost started to turn into a bit of a saga just before this evening's game kicked off, because Al Sadd came out again. They've already done this once before, but they made a brand new statement on XAVI. They basically said there that they welcome the visit there of Barca's delegation. They admitted that Barca were in town for talks. They said they appreciate that, but the club's position is clear from the beginning. They said, we are committed to keeping our coach XAVI, and we cannot have him leave at this sensitive time of the season. And I think as we all read that statement, I think the alarm bells did start ringing, because at Barca, it doesn't really take much to send us all into frenzy, especially right now, as desperate as we are for some good news. When you hear things like this, it's not exactly what you want. And it did seem to imply that maybe negotiations earlier on in the day, those talks, hadn't gone so well. And so, in the media there, following that big statement from Al Sadd, it then started to emerge, as it has done multiple times throughout this entire saga, that the absence of President Joan Laporta was causing certain complications in the negotiations. Because right from the very beginning, when it comes to XAVI, to Barca, when it comes there to releasing XAVI from his Al Sadd contract, what they've been very firm on, the leaders of Al Sadd, is that they desperately want to see President Laporta face to face. They want Laporta to travel to Qatar to meet them, to talk with them, and only then will they be willing to negotiate on XAVI. But of course, like I say, only Yuste and Almani travelled today. Laporta was not in Qatar. And looking at what the media are saying right now, and having done some research myself this evening, I think there's two reasons why Laporta, although you think, you know what, just go and do it, get the deal done. But I think there's two reasons there why Laporta seems to be hesitant to almost play ball with the leaders there of Al Sadd. Laporta, number one, feels as though this is not standard practice. Usually when you're bringing in a new player or a new coach from a club elsewhere, it's not the president who's sort of travelling around everywhere, hopping on and off planes and going to meet with the clubs themselves. That is why you have CEOs. That's why you have vice presidents. That's why you have directors of football, the sporting staff around you to go and do that work. Usually it's not the president who's asked to come forward there in those meetings, but I think it goes deeper than that too. And I think this is why here we are getting into very murky waters. I think there's certainly a political play here coming into force, because this goes back to 2015, and especially Joan Laporta's words there on Barca's sponsorship with Qatar Airways, of course, during Bartomeu's tenure as president. Laporta back then had very strong views on that sponsorship coming in from Qatar, and as a result of that, I feel as though that's why they want Laporta there. It's almost a power play here. Come to us, you will do as I say. But I think the problem is right now is the fact that XAVI is under contract. Right now, of course, it is very much in Al Sadd's hands what they decide to do. Apparently, like we've said before, they would be willing to let XAVI go for free. They wouldn't want any money in return. return, but now we are sort of hearing different rumours about maybe Al Sadd wanting a friendly match with Barca. In place of that compensation, they would like to have a friendly there maybe played in Qatar with Barca. There has also been rumours as well surrounding the 2022 World Cup in Qatar too. Maybe Al Sadd, instead of money for Xavi, would rather Barca become an ambassador for that World Cup. And I think there's lots of different power plays, lots of different political stances here at play in these negotiations. But it is said that if things do get too difficult, if things get out of hand in these discussions, Barca do not rule out paying the €5 million that apparently it would take to release Xavi from his Al Sadd contract. So Barca could go and pay that release clause. We all know that, of course, that money is tight, especially after the sacking of Ronald Koeman. But like I say, if things do get desperate, if we have to go down that road, it's not ruled out. But of course, moving back to exactly what's been happening on the Wednesday, like I say, there was a big game to come, potentially their Xavi's final game as Al Sadd coach, and that took place there against Al Duhail, who are the second best team in Qatar right now. And as you can see here, Rafael Yuste and Mattia Almani actually took their seats on the sidelines there in the crowd to watch Xavi's possible last game, as they were given the full VIP experience. And it was, I have to say, a thrilling game between the two top teams in the league. There was plenty of drama. It was a 3-3 draw there, plenty of goals and excitement, but I think by far the most significant moments in that game came whenever Al Sadd scored a goal, because whenever they'd score, what would they do? They'd go over and celebrate with XAVI Hernandez. You can see here the pictures, the Al Sadd players clearly going around their coach. It almost felt as though, thanks for everything. Thanks for everything you've given us. Thanks for everything you've given me as a player. It felt like a farewell there, certainly, during the game. And even after the game as well, there was no hiding it. There was no secrets anymore, because plenty of Al Sadd actually came out, spoke to the media, and said, you know what? We're really sad. We're devastated. This is going to be Xavi's last game. It was almost like for sure they were informed before this game that, you know what? This is going to be the end. This will be the final game of XAVI Hernandez at Al Sadd, before finally it was time for Xavi himself to face the media. And this is what I was really looking forward to. After the game, I knew that he'd be asked about Barca. I thought maybe we could get some official information from Xavi. And I've got to say, he did not disappoint. His statements left no doubt. He said, the clubs are in talk right now, but I'm a positive person. They've got to reach an agreement. He said, the two clubs know my position perfectly. He said, I've made that very clear, and I hope they can find a solution soon. Xavi went on, he said it's a question of common sense. He said in the end it's got to happen, you've got to find some sort of solution, an agreement. He said I am very excited though, I'm really looking forward to returning home. That's what he said right there. Returning to Barca is returning home for me. He said I hope that it happens because it would be spectacular to coach Barcelona. He said I've been speaking with Barca for days now. He said everything is ready. I think that hints there at the agreement that Barca have with Xavi. There's no problem at all in that regard. He said now I will have dinner with the leaders of Al Sadd and those of Barca, and it will all depend on the conversations between those two clubs. And I do think right there, guys, that those words from Xavi, they are significant. I think we needed to hear it, not just from himself, in private conversations, but to actually come out publicly there and say, you know what, I want to go. I want to leave. I want to return home to Barcelona. I want to coach Barca. It was so important that he said that there. Everybody was aware of that, of course. We knew that he wanted to, but I think for those at Al Sadd now to hear that, Xavi is clear in his wishes. He's given very good service to this club as a player. Then, of course, becoming their coach. They've won a lot of trophies, been very successful with him, and I just hope that now they take all of that into account. Forget all this political stuff, forget the war there with Joan Laporta. This is about Xavi, and I really do hope that some sort of agreement can be reached, because indeed, as the night went on, photos, as you can see here, emerged later in the evening of that exact dinner. Xavi was indeed right in what he was saying. There was a meeting there between the leaders of Al Sadd. Xavi was there, and Barca's delegation too. But what we have right now, and the final news that we had on Wednesday, is that no agreement, no complete agreement, was reached there in those discussions. But tomorrow on Thursday, the negotiations will continue with Al Sadd, with Xavi present too. I think all sides here need to find an agreement, need to find the best solution for everyone. And I do think, although it has been a very up and down day, I think this has turned out to be a bit more difficult than we were expecting. I think there's been a few unexpected hurdles along the way that we're going to have to overcome somehow. But I still do believe, sitting with you here today, that Xavi will become the new Barca coach. We can still be confident of that. We can be calm. But I think right now, we've got to be patient, we've got to wait for those discussions and those negotiations to play out to see exactly what can be done without Laporta. And of course, like I say, if absolute worst comes to worst, Barca are open to paying the clause, and it's not ruled out either that maybe even XAVI would contribute towards that too. But let's wait and see. Big days and big hours will be coming up. And of course, guys, all of the latest news, it will be coming right here as we keep waiting for that official confirmation that XAVI is returning home. So please, guys, do leave your thoughts in the comments down below on everything we have discussed here on what has been a very, very intriguing day. How do you see those negotiations going now, moving into Thursday? Do you think that an agreement can be reached with Al-Sadd? Do you believe that they will move on some of those demands? Please do let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I will, of course, see you soon. Like I say, thank you for watching. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça!